the champions knockout stages. We close out the group with back-to-back 4-0 wins away to Dinamo Zagreb, not an easy opponent, champions of Croatia, and away and at home to Salzburg, the champions of Austria, and also not an easy opponent. Chelsea struggled with both, and just incredible performance, pedal to the metal from the moment, from the kickoff immediately. Insane energy. The game was back and forth. I think we gave them a little bit too much time on the ball, a little bit too much comfort. They created a bunch of chances, and so that was a little bit concerning. But overall, just when we play like that, with that energy, it's very hard to keep up with us. Like the pace, the level of skill, the athleticism, the pure athletic ability that we have on this team, from Kalulu, Tomori, Teo, Leao, even Rebic played today. I mean, even Benasser and Tonali, actually, for center midfielders, are incredibly physical. Like, the pure athleticism on this team is just very hard to deal with when they're all running like that. When they're all, like, firing on all cylinders and the spark is there. It's a firecracker team. That's what I'm going to start calling them. They're a firecracker team. When you light the fuse, it's fucking going everywhere. Like, you don't know who's attacking at any given moment. Suddenly, Kalulu's dribbling past 3 players and he's in the box. Teo can do it. Leao can do it. Benasser, Tonali, Rebic at times has a couple skill moves. Like, the pure adrenaline in this team is second to none. And honestly, I think what this game showed is that Teo is the spark. Teo is he's the, like, metronome. When he starts out at the energy that he showed at the beginning of the game, just 2 minutes in, bam, he's running up the field, getting the ball from Rebic and shooting it from outside the box, hitting the far post. I mean, just like when he's on that, and he had like 2 to 3 or 4 like marauding runs where he's just getting the ball 1 touch, 2 touch, beating guys off the dribble, all this kind of stuff. When he's doing that, it just, you could hear San Siro, the volume level rises, the adrenaline rises, and everybody on the team rises with it. Like, it was incredible to watch, honestly. I thought Tonali and Benasser were brilliant, like, unstoppable, honestly. Some of the shit they can do, like, I'm in awe. I'm genuinely in awe of some things they can do, like, my God. I mean, Benasser and Tonali, and I'm going to talk about them in a different light in a second, but just the shit they can do is incredible, you know? It is absolutely incredible. I thought Giroud was spectacular in all phases of play. We didn't have the ball, he was in the right spots. When we had the ball, he won headers, he chested it, controlled, all these kind of things in the target man phase of the game. Then when he got it to feet, every pass was pinpoint, every heel flick, every little layoff, every single thing was on point. In front of goal, he scored the free kick. He scored the corner to open the scoring. Then he assisted Krunić's header with a wonderful, like, he contorted his body, got all the way back, nodded it back to Krunić, who headed it in. He had the third goal, which is just perfect anticipation on the volley, scores, and even the fourth goal. Like, the fourth goal is when you see, like, okay, he's getting older and his body's deteriorating, but his understanding of the game is getting better and better, because he gets the ball, and the immediate, I think me and anybody who, like, is watching the game is like, oh, play to Messias quick. And he's like, no, I'm gonna take this ball, I'm gonna shield it with my back, I'm gonna turn and give Messias the opportunity, where now he's running in full stride. I play it to him, and Messias is now one-on-one, cuts inside, left onto his, like, stronger left foot, and he curls in a beauty, and it's 4-0, and it's just, he was magnificent in every phase of the play, honestly. I'm gonna give a little tiny bits of, like, this is where I think we should improve, but that doesn't, I don't want it to take away from how brilliant the performance is, but there are obviously things. First of all, Kjaer is done. I love him, and we would not, I can confidently say, him and Zlatan especially, we would not be where we are today without those two. Their imprint on Milan and their imprint on the history of the club in this era will never be forgotten, right? The leadership and also just the level of play on the field it's something special. But the injury has unfortunately finished. You could put a fork in him. He's done. Unfortunately, I know he understands the game, but genuinely, his body just can't. He's always in the wrong spot because physically he can't get to the right spot fast enough. I get it that we were playing a team of 21-year-olds, but these kind of games with a high adrenaline, and everybody else could match it. Tonali, Tomori, Kalulu, all these guys could match the intensity, and he just simply couldn't. He wasn't there. Time and time again, he gave the ball away, and time again, the ball would come from the left-hand side. It would get crossed all the way to whoever Tomori was marking on the right-hand side. From the right to the left, because ultimately nobody's got nobody. Kjaer so often was struggling to get back into the box to be the buffer between the left and the right. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and I think it's just time to integrate Chao. It has to be. Gabia is plenty good enough to be a third center back. I think he's proven that this season, and I think it's Chao time. You gotta put him in, trust him. I mean, the little flashes that we saw against Hellas were spectacular. So clearly, at the very least, the physical side of the ball, physical side of the game, he's there. He's ready on all counts on that end. And I understand. I'm sure in training he's lacking something, which is why he's not playing. I understand that. But slow integration, I think it's time. It's time because Kjaer is not up to the pace of the game anymore. I thought Tomori started the game a little bit timid, he was just trying too much, right? He's trying too much on the ball, trying to get a little fancy, trying to play certain passes, and it's just, listen, sometimes at this point in the season, we just came off a bad loss. Just get back to the basics. Just play defense, because his defensive fundamentals are phenomenal. He is athletic as all hell, and he knows where to be at all times, and he can get his long legs, he can get these tackles off and all that kind of stuff. Just stick to that sometimes. And he did. Past the 20th minute, he started okay, fine. When I get the ball, I'm just gonna make the simple pass. When I get the ball, I'm just gonna boot it. I'm just gonna play simple, fundamental football. And I'm not saying that I never want him to pass. I'm not saying, of course not. He has all the abilities to do all those things, right? I'm just saying sometimes when it doesn't come off first or second time, let's just get back to basics, because there's plenty of players on the team that can do all that. And finally, look, I think this whole week after the Torino loss, which, I'm not ignoring, but after the Torino loss, there was a lot of talk about how do we play without Benasser. There's not really, and I've been saying this for a while, that we should sign somebody like Maxime Lopez from Sassuolo who can kind of bring that same sort of focal point in midfield where the ball can come to him and I can be fully confident he is going to get it to the right places, And that's all right. I personally think, look, with Tonali and with Benasser together, we have a chance in every single game. Against any team in the world, we have a chance. I'm not saying we will beat every single team, but there is a scenario against every single team in the world where we win with those two. The problem is even in this game, those two guys are so uniquely talented, and they are so spectacular that ultimately they're trying to do every touch. They're trying to do the extravagant thing, right? And the thing that makes them so elite is that 80% of the time they can do those extravagant things. Benasser can shield the ball with his back, spin the guy, play a 60-yard pass to Leao. He can do that, right? And the fact that he can do that makes him so elite. And the fact that he doesn't almost always consistently is what makes him so elite, right? But they're also lacks a calming presence in the midfield right now that Kessie brings. And I know Milan fans want to always say, okay, fine. I'm not saying bring back Kessie, whatever. I don't give a shit at this point. He's gone. But there has to be somebody who's content with 80% of their passes being the simple pass, with 80% of their passes being the recycling of possession. It just has to be. Every great team has one, Rodri at City, right, is insanely talented. He has every single pass you could possibly imagine. He can accomplish every single one of them, right? He can execute everything. But 80% of his passes are, let me give it to Bernardo Silva. Let me give it to this guy. Let me give it to this guy. Just chill. Just calm, controlled passing that keeps them out of danger and slows down the game every once in a while. Because you need the balance, right? I was saying we're a firecracker team. You want to be that, right? But you also want to be like, okay, cool, we're 2-0 up or we're 1-0 up. We can slow the game down a little bit. We can burst when we want to, you know? It doesn't always have to be pedal to the metal all the time. There has to be a little bit of a calming influence. And I think a midfielder in January is the most important thing we can sign. It needs to be somebody who can replace Benacer, but it doesn't have to be exactly like Benacer. Like I was saying, I think defensive output, and a little bit of a calming influence in midfield, and we're good to go. And yeah, honestly, on to Spezia and on to the round of 16.